Peter Obi is the leader that we need for Nigeria, but not the politician that we need for us. But Peter does not buy votes. In Lagos State, when you were seeing people marching on October 1st, going everywhere, Peter did not send money for that. For the election itself, he sent money for logistics, food for the polling unit agents and everything. That money was stuck in the bank till Tuesday after the election. So he won Lagos State without buying votes. There's one man that determines who the governor of Lagos is in APC. And that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I don't know why we are shying away from this. Fashola was his former SA Ambody that was working with him at
an accountant or
yes,
something.
and then you had Sanwo-Olu that was also working. My father tells me that my grandfather told him how Nigeria was better in his time. My father told me how Nigeria was better in his time. Now, I can clearly remember converting 1 million to buy 4,000 pounds. I can tell my children now that I remember a time that Nigeria was better. I was at MIT when Obasanjo was president. As soon as I finished, I came back. All my friends at Harvard came back. We felt that if we did not come back, we're missing out on a new Nigeria, on so much opportunity. There are people I will tell this to. I might tell you this now, and you cannot imagine the idea.
Everybody wants
that
Jackpot right now.
are running back to Nigeria as opposed to the other way around. But there was a time where that was the case because there was hope.
In 2018, we went to a place called Love Fifth Foundation. They were about 50 children. I was so excited to meet them. I asked, "Oh, what's your name?" so that you can relate. What's your name? They don't have name. What? So what do you call them? Boy. If you're a girl. Anyone will answer, they'll say, no, it's this one that I'm calling. I will even talk about a 20-year-old girl who came from Warri to Lagos. She wanted to start a life, all of that. I asked, what's your name? Say, that time, they used to call her Johnson. Female. Why are they calling you Johnson? Apparently, that's the man that raped the mother. That's the name of the man that raped the mother. So they just gave her the name.
They benefited from free education. They had jobs when they came out of school. They could get loans to buy cars. My grandfather, his driver's child was in the same school as his son. And the school fee was barely anything. So that driver could drive and not be worrying about paying school fees for his child.
And the quality of the education.
And the quality of the education, which most of the political elite are beneficiaries of.
Free.
Welcome to the Honest Bunch podcast. Let me begin first by saying congratulations and jubilation, celebration in our podcast. And you know why? Because the Honest Bunch podcast, should I say, has emerged. Emerge can't be like say competition day. No.
You know what I mean?
The Honest Bunch podcast has rightfully been declared, because that declaration is strong, been declared as the 2024 podcast of the year. And this is courtesy of Gage Awards. I think we deserve a round of applause. Gage Awards, thank you very much.
Then Gage and where?
Gage and where?
Was there beavers? Did they use beavers?
Oh, no beavers.
Not 25%. We will not go to court. We can't do one. Thank you so much. But it's also important to emphasize that the reason why we clinched that award is because of the support that we get from you. The fact that every Monday at 6 p.m. and all through the week or all through the season, you're here, you give us all the support, your suggestions, your advice. We're really very grateful. Thank you so much. Now, because of that, we curate great content, make una continue to enjoy them. Now, it's also important to give you this information because I always say that Koloma Jara and FSSC, you waka and enter inside problem. It gets some airports now where they get some kind of people will be say, if you enter their country, you carry products will be fake products. They go arrest you. No go follow, say you and your babe, they plan honeymoon. Then you can't end up for prison or then deport you come back. So AfriPrize, a very viable platform where you can get original products. And you're not just buying quality. You go also win better price. Now why they call her Afri price? Because as you they win, as you they buy something when get quality, you dey also get chance to win. Whether na vacation, whether na other products, Afri price, we love you. Then you get one boy when I always they talk about. I talk say that boy go win Grammy. The boy don't give us another one when they cause butterflies in our tummy. Do mommy the jig. And this is now person will be say Adult Nation Entertainment. Now inside I'm so adult, we see you. You're revolutionizing the entertainment industry and we appreciate you. His new song is out. Butterfly. Stream, download, just run up the numbers. Run up the numbers. So that said, let me go straight into the introduction of the amazing quartet before we come bring Una, our guest. By my immediate right, ladies and gentlemen, is the beautiful, delectable, drop-dead gorgeous Gen Z Pro Max. Everybody agrees with her once she says,
Yes.
Stop. Deity Cole!
Hi, babies. I've missed you. How are
She's
you doing?
peely these days.
Oh, please stop it. Oh, my God. Are you jelly or Ganidu?
Are you what?
Are you jelly?
Don't be jelly.
Oh, jelly, jealous.
See Gen Z people, now every year they learn something.
Nipa,
We
what's
are
that?
not jelly, no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, from one beautiful African Nigerian woman to another beautiful African Nigerian woman, one for and proud, ambassador of Aba, aka the light has come, 24/7 uninterrupted. Nwachichi, Nwachinemere,
Let them not think it's another
Woman leader.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's so
So, almost you did not add how many jollof? 10.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen our elder brother, the Salt, the man that has done a lot over 5 seasons and counting.
Working lossy gym. What are they?
Yes, he is now a gym rat. Sorry, a gym freak. He's now a gym freak. You can tell by his biceps. Ladies and gentlemen, a man of enchanting physiognomy, many degrees and characters, Nedu Wazobia!
Hi guys, I want to say thank you to all of you that showed up for the charity ball, the Nedu Scholarship Foundation. Those of you that showed up on Saturday, I want to say thank you to all of you. Special thanks to Senator, special thanks to Acapella, Darrenley, everybody that showed up. GRV showed up. Thanks to everyone that showed up. Now, let me tell you the truth. What we're doing is we're trying to raise, in the Nedu Foundation, we're trying to raise money to send people to university. I never do show before. I know Sabi, the stress is too much. But anything that has to do with adding value to other people, I champion it. And we champion it here at the Honest Bunch. So this one is raising money to send people to universities or for people to learn things that's going to add value to their life. Now, the thing is on, the donations are on. So wherever you are, if not 2,500, 3,000 naira, 1 million, 20 million, whatever you can donate to the foundation, donate. Because that thing you're donating is adding to someone else's life and making their future better and their family better and their lineage better. Link is in my bio on Instagram. If you want to donate, go there and donate. Thank you very much. Ciao.
And finally,
Ladies and gentlemen,
And finally,
Syria.
hold on. And finally, I mean, we've introduced, other materials has introduced Tone, introduced Ezinne, and introduced myself. Now, the next person we're about to introduce, he's called Husband Material for a reason. Pum 60 feet container on the high sea. Follow come charger. Duplex up and down. Working na ako. Working na ako left and right. Working with pounds and dollars. Working with Rolls Royce and Bentley. Working with but I see who are they? But it's one person. Working Chirechi. Working with mother. Working with
this is not about me.
You forgot 6 foot tall chocolate puppy dripping. Oh, my God.
That's right.
So don't go there. I'm even trying to. It's okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, this one a double header.
Yes.
Because we know, say, this conversation a very, very important conversation, and are the right people that we bring come to discuss them. Today we're going to be discussing, young people in politics, young people in governance, and importantly, young people and the future of our great country, Nigeria. Let me introduce our guest. Our guest, if to say she be man and then born her for Old Testament, her name for be David. Why?
Hallelujah.
Because she not dey fear any Goliath.
Hallelujah.
She holds the record till date as the youngest female to present herself to run for public office.
Rema.
Even though the thing not turn out the way when the thing she take plan but the truth be say, the lessons when she don't learn, now lessons when we say, by the special grace of God Almighty and the power of the Nigerian people, this country go feel the impact and they go feel the experience. She's a fierce politician. She's a fearless politician. And she's a Nigerian that wears it boldly on her chest. She's dedicated. She's a success. And she's resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and the only Okikiola Taiwo Jalupon. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. You're welcome. So we don't introduce the first person. I'm going to introduce the next person. The next person is somebody that I have known for so many years.
Yes.
And, you know, he is always particular about doing the right things, following the process,
Yes.
and not allowing conversations about impossibility deter your action. This young man in 2019 wore the jersey of the political party at the time to represent them in the general elections. He ran for Senate and he contested against somebody who had been in that office for a very long time. In 2023, this young man flew the flag of the Labour Party in the gubernatorial elections in Lagos State. Ladies and gentlemen, if na book, he read am too much. If na sense, he get am too much. If na fine, boy.
Ew.
If na determination and the love for Nigeria, he dey in body. I am talking of no other than G-R-V. Gbadebo, Rhodes-Vivour! Baba, you're welcome.
Fine boy,
you.
looking sexy. If I be babe, if I don't carry belly for her.
Calm down now, calm down. So interesting. Now let's just delve straight into the conversation because this is a conversation that we must have. Now this is March 2024, and if we cast our minds back to March of 2023, I'm very certain that around this time, you know, Nigerians were still talking about the presidential elections.
Yes.
And preparations were in top gear for the gubernatorial elections. But it's been one whole year, and this is where we are. Now, people have said that young people must do all that they can to see that they participate actively in politics, in government, and in governance. But some people look at this situation and say, these young people themselves, they're not even ready. They're not there prepared. Because you go need people when we say understand the role when they go play. And now those people go play that particular role. So today we're going to be having that conversation, discussing the challenges and most importantly, proffering solutions to how young people can take charge. But I have one very important question. And I think it's a good place to start from. This Nigeria, when people they talk, say Nigeria is a great nation. We must do all that we can to see that Nigeria becomes great again. And young people must play their part. The redemption of our great country, Nigeria, truly and truly, if we look at it and look at the majority of those who constitute Nigeria's young population today, is it truly in the hands of young people or we are just deceiving ourselves or trying to make ourselves feel
And you
better?
must add the fact that we have to be honest about it.
Yes.
Let us be honest.
In all honesty.
In all honesty, is it truly in our hands? Go ahead.
Okay. First, I would say that there's no politician that didn't start from a young age. So you see the likes of Tinubu, Obasanjo, all of them started from the age of 30s, 20s into politics. So from time immemorial, politics has always depended on young people to make sure that they take them to the next stage. So I feel like now we are the young people now, and we're also supposed to take that mantle to take Nigeria to the next stage. Whether it has gotten bad, it has gotten better, it's just the job of the young people to take it where it's supposed to be or backward. Whatever it is, it's the young people. That's where we are right now. So we are not deceiving ourselves. We are not lying about young people doing these things. I would say that for me in 2019, I already had a foundation that was catering for vulnerable people in, slum communities. And I looked at it, okay, so what do I do next from here? I'm already the Okiki Foundation, what next? And then one of my uncles said, you could go into politics. The whole idea of going into politics is to better the lives of your community. So why don't you try it? And I was 23 at that time. I was like, okay, whatever it is, let me try what politics is like. I've never been into, the whole idea of politics. And then people came with, it's a dirty game. You are too young. You are too this. You are too that. And for the first time I ran, I came third in the election. So it sounds like it was impossible when I started. But then I now see how much people depended on a young person making it better. Looking at it that all the people past and gone are no longer going to take it to the next stage that it's going to be. This is the time for young people. And that's my own opinion.
Some people would argue that it's the content and not the container. I'm going to give an example with my governor. The governor of my state, Alex Oti. Whatever. The governor of my state, Alex Oti, he's been trying to be the governor of my state. I mean, and years have passed, 8 years or more. And finally, he gets it. He's no longer the age he used to be at the time. 8 years have gone. And if you were 35, in 8 years, you're going to be 40-something.
43.
43. So, and he's there now, and he's doing it. It's evident. Everybody can see. So some people would argue that it is not the container, but the content. If they would argue that if these people, like you're young, you have what you have in you to do good. And if you're in politics and you intend to be in politics, I don't know, but most people intend to be in politics as long as they can because they feel like they still have enough to give, even when they are 70. Even when they are 75, 80, they feel like, I mean, it's in my head. So for these people, they would also argue that there are some young people that are opportunists. So it doesn't matter. There are young people who would do bad. There are old people who would do good. And they would argue that if you're good, you're good. If you're bad, not minding your age. What do you have to say?
I naturally would not generalize on young and old people because I have mentors who are way older than I am and who have also taught me to be resilient. I've had times where I cry from campaign after they have torn all my posters. And then when I get home, my dad will say, when you are done crying, the next day you are going out again. So this is an old person that I am looking up to. So I just believe that he started from 8 years ago. If he came all of a sudden and said, I want to run, they'll use that age to say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. But he has stayed there. You know, there's a lot of young people, old people who have even ran for elections that after the first election, they go and rest and say, I can't do it anymore. But there's continuity. And that's what people will see. Continuity. They'll see resilience. They'll see that I have good for the community. And that's why I'm still doing this over and over again. I always say that elections always turns out bad for the good people because when they don't win, there's monetary, there's social, there's mental, there's so many things that they have to sit back again and just feel like, okay, what have I lost? What have I gained? And then that's what helps them to say, okay, I would go again, or then I'm...
Now, Ogaji Arvi, I'm going to come to you. As Matera said something, the question he asked, going back to it, everybody used to say, politics is for the young. Oh, how did they talk that thing?
Not young, too.
Not the youth.
The leaders of tomorrow.
The youth are the leaders of tomorrow. Kinikon. Youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But the old ones are behind like puppeteers. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because they are acting as puppeteers. Because most of the youths, I don't have my facts about it. It's just my emotions talking and also what I see. I believe that most of the youths are puppets for the puppeteer master, for the puppeteers. You get the point now? No, she puppeteer ni puppeteers. What do you have to say about that?
No, I think that's a major generalization. I think that the number of youth that are directly benefiting from the current status quo, they are a very small minority. Okay. Yes, with the huge unemployment we have, you can give some people, you can create a social media farm and you're paying people maybe 10,000 or giving people money for credit and they are loud online. But you'll find that they are just a loud minority. Also, it depends on the why. Yes, and depends on the why anybody gets involved in politics, right? If you just want to be with the winning crowd in your mind, then you'll go and join the ruling party and, you know, you'll climb your way up. And for so people that look at that as success, you will see them doing things and you say the youth that are in government, they are with them, they are being controlled, they are puppets. You can look at it that way.
Yeah.
But then there are huge amounts of youth that are standing aside and saying, no, we do not subscribe to the belief system of this party or this status quo or this vision that these particular people have for the country. So they are going to stand aside and oppose or stand up and run against them or stand up and challenge them in any way, shape or form. Democracy is a two-way street. And the more people are able to hold their government to account, the better for all of us, right? So I will say that yes, there are a number of people that, work with the government and are beneficiaries of it, but they're still a small minority.
Do you think the future, just like Sumatera asked earlier, do you think is for the young ones or for the old ones?
I believe that, democracy is supposed to be representative of your demography.
Yes.
So if 60 to 70% of your population are youth, democracy says that should be the makeup of your governance, right? If you understand what I'm saying. So if democracy represents your demography, that demography should be reflected in your governance. So that's one way to look at it. The second thing is, if our democratic systems work, right, and people are able to vote their mind and that result is what comes out of it, then you have a very representative government. But unfortunately, you have seen a situation where there are people, like she said, got involved in politics at a very young age, but continue to hold on to the steering of this vehicle called Nigeria, regardless of how out of touch they seem to have become. I love the example that she gave about Alex Otti. You will not look at Alex Otti and say he's a 35-year-old man, but the man is vibrant.
Yeah.
The man is connected to the needs of his people.
True.
And you see that in the way he has delivered in the short time that he's been in office. I think more than anything, we are looking for leaders that can connect to the majority of their people, understand their needs. And typically, if you are from the same age group as the people, you tend to know, or you should have a better idea of what they want. Like they will say, you cannot be analog in a digital world, right? But there are some older people that are very up to date, are in touch, and have empathy, right? So I'm not, like she said, it's about the content. At the same time, you should be in good health, right? Being a leader in a complex country like Nigeria requires you to be energetic, requires you to be able to be thinking at the highest possible level, requires you to be highly intellectual, have the energy to be able to have multiple meetings and bring people together, right? So your health is very important and you should be vibrant.
My own question is, are the older ones ready to leave? Because the political pattern right now is not... The structure is not even helping the youth. It's not encouraging. Because right now, we are here and we are talking about, the youth, most people, whenever they hear the youth, they believe, these people are unserious, they're not ready. Why is it the older one that are still dirty now are the ones we are looking up to and we're not encouraging the youth? Because these people, they've been there for a long time. And nothing has changed. We keep moving progressively, retrogressively. Like, we keep going boom, boom. Like, nothing is changing.
And in addition to what she's asking, somebody said something. You cannot create a future that you cannot be part of. You understand? It's only young people that can create a future that which is what you see. A lot of people have this bias against the Caucasians. I love the Caucasians. I love them to death. You know why I love them? Because then they plan for 1,000 years ahead.
Yes.
When they're not good day.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? They look at something, okay, this is going to go here, this is going to go there. Let us plan toward it. This has to be this has to be this has to be that. Not us. Back to our question.
Okay, so do you think now that the older ones, they are ready to leave? Because they just want to stay there and keep being the puppet master. And the person that is coming that is represented that, this is the youngest person. We need this person to come and save us from this and that. We don't know who is behind that person that is doing the puppet master control. And it could have been the same person that has been making the country not move forward. So how do we cut off the older generation?
And sorry, in addition to, because what we hear when you want to get into politics, you need to have a godfather. If you don't have a godfather, you cannot go anywhere. No, these godfathers now, they don't do their tete, and then go direct you, We know a few people, me and you, we know a few people that are in politics. We get godfather, and they align them up from beginning to now where then they. What makes you think that those people then go do their own biddings, if not the biddings of the godfather?
Exactly.
We put them there.
Power is never giving. Nobody relinquishes power.
True.
No matter how we want to be critical of the president today and whatever controversies that there might be, there was a point where he was part of Nadeco or affiliated to Nadeco and with a number of other people, and they fought to collect power from the military. Prior to that, there was a part where you had nationalists like Herbert Macaulay, Henry Carr, and the rest of them fought to get independence from the British, right? And this goes on. Power is always a confrontational thing, and in the confrontation, a new order is set. Now, when a civilization or a democracy has advanced to a certain position, that confrontation is peaceful. Because power is either gotten through the barrel of a gun or in the voting process. So with America now, you can be having a presidential election, people can move freely, go to work, they vote, they go, right? But unfortunately, that's not the case in Nigeria. So you have a generation of leaders that have accumulated so much wealth. They've stolen so much money from this system. And in stealing and controlling the country, they're able to perpetuate themselves, perpetuate their children. So they are not going to let go of that. And more than anything, when they let go, and another person comes in, they can now expose all the stealing that they've done. And that's where the desperation to hold on to that power comes in. Because when a politician has to use violence to hold power, you see now it's a question of desperation, right? It's a question of desperation. So as young people, there's always been a struggle. I've given you one of the military struggle. I've talked about the colonial one from British Empire. There's always a struggle. Now, the prayer and the hope is that we have enough young people that mean well for us, that can actually direct our affairs to a proper destination and a vision for Nigeria that would lift people out of poverty. Because, I mean, China 60, 70 years ago, a lot of them were in poverty. But with the right leadership, you look at them now. Same thing with Singapore. So with the right leaders, you can achieve this. And we must understand that we must stand up. It's not something that's just going to be given to us. We must stand up and understand that we make up the majority of this population. When there's a bad policy, it disproportionately affects us, the young people. We are the ones that are having children now that need to start paying school fees. We are the ones that are, having children now and we need to be worried about healthcare. We are building families. We now need to buy a house for those that can afford it. For those that can try to access a mortgage. They benefited from free education. They had jobs when they came out of school. They could get loans to buy cars. We don't, right? So as a generation, we must come and look at this and say, if a leader is out of touch, if a leader does not have the emotional or empathetic sympathy to understand that they have to work for us. They're not our leaders to rule over us, but they're our servants. And carry us on their head, not they are our Lord and Master. Every time we say we must hail them and worship them. Until we can reverse that, this country is just going to keep getting worse. I was saying to somebody that, I say this all the time, my father tells me that my grandfather told him how Nigeria was better in his time. My father told me how Nigeria was better in his time. Now, I can clearly remember converting 1 million to buy 4,000 pounds. Now, I use 2 million to buy 1,000 pounds.
And 2 million is not up to 1,000 pounds.
I can tell my children now that I remember a time that Nigeria was better.
Yes.
So this cannot continue to be what we are bequeathing to generation after generation after generation.
But it's important that we lay a proper foundation for the conversation. Because like you have said, this is not this is not an age conversation. We are not battling. It's not young versus old. It's looking at Nigeria's population, looking at people who, for example, can vote in elections, looking at the number of people who are young people and who should be playing an active role. Like, for example, in 2023, according to the stats, there were 93 million, I think 469,008 registered voters. Of these 93 million, those who constitute the youth population, 18 to 34, make up 37 million plus. Middle-aged, 35 to 49, 33 million plus. So these two already make up over 70 million of 93 million. But in the result, a little over 20 million people decided the fate of over 200 million people. So it is indicative of the fact that many people are not interested in the process. Now, let me use the example of Arsenal. There are people today who, in their life, have never seen Arsenal win the EPL
What's
trophy.
that?
What the
Baba,
fuck?
what does
that mean?
No, wait, I'm going
What was
somewhere.
that supposed to mean?
Thank God. I want it to hit home now.
So you don't know where you go use now.
No, no verse.
Why you not use Man U?
No verse. And the reason I'm saying this is because
Rubbish.
if you go back to the last time that Arsenal won the trophy, there are people who have become adults today, 18 plus, who don't even know what it feels like for the captain of a football club to lift the EPL trophy. Now, you need to paint the picture.
It's okay.
You need to paint the picture for the person to understand it. The reason I'm saying this is because we have so many young people today who don't even know that there are young people who can participate in governance, or there are young people who have participated in governance and made impact. What they know today is the stories of people who have disappointed. And that's where I'm going to bring up the better Edu situation. Youngest minister, she's now suspended. Youngest in this administration, a lot of, commendations, expectations, given the fact that the president entrusted somebody in that particular age category. But look at what has happened today. And people are saying, if we say young people, we are deceiving ourselves.
What happened? For those who are not aware.
Okay, yes, okay. For those who are not aware, money, when she supposed they put eye on top, enter inside private accounts.
Personal accounts.
Enter inside personal accounts.
Billions.
And when they can't do investigation, although the finding never come out publicly, it can't be say, follow the process where we say the thing supposed
Even
to
if na normal thing wey dey happen for others.
And some people have come out to say it's a normal thing that, other people do it. Why is this case different? But for so many people, they say this has undermined the chances of young people in governance because of one particular incident. Let's tell ourselves the truth, because we should not be mincing words. We can go on and on about, the future is bright, the nation, the light, the young people will come out and rise and push and do this. But the reality that we are faced with is many young people are not interested in politics and governance. Baba, today, if election day and people get option to camp babe for their house, they go carry that babe than to participate in that
If
process.
TikTok challenge day, more TikTok challenge go day instead of the election.
People go rather, unless they attach giveaway to election. If they attach giveaway, say if you vote, you will get 5K. I am sure that it would encourage more people to participate than just telling people that this is your future and you participate. And so the big question is, young Nigerians, what do we do to see that they become pained with the situation that we are faced with in Nigeria today, where you have to buy noodles for 18,000 naira now. You have to buy vegetable
Bag
oil.
of rice for 80,000.
You have to buy vegetable oil for over 11,000 or 11,000 naira now. Now, these people are the people who are going to live in the future, but it's looking like they have eaten their future has been eaten away. How do we get these people to become, I will not use the word angry, how do we get these people to become involved in the process and for them to say, this country is my country, I need to participate and see that we rescue this country, or we redeem the image or the plight of this nation, or have we given up?
I'm going to disagree with significant amount of what you said. When we saw Ganduje with money in his Babariga, did that did that discredit the entire people in his generation from political power?
It didn't.
It didn't. When Lagos State Procurement Agency published the fact that Governor Sanwo-Olu took 200 million naira from the state to pay his personal legal bills, did that disqualify the people of his generation?
It didn't.
So why would Better Edu's action disqualify or discredit an entire population of people that make up 60%, and even more than that, right? The process by which a people come to power matters. If you come through a corrupt system that you are using thugs and money to buy your way into power, there's a way things are done. There are expectations of you. I mean, even the Minister of State, I believe, has also been sort of indicted or affiliated with this Better Edu Gate situation. We've seen a situation where his name is also being mentioned. We've also seen a situation where the Chief of Staff, Gbadebo's name is also being mentioned and aligned with all of these things. So there is a system of corruption that's endemic in the system. Now, I would even go as far as saying she's a victim of a corrupt system. It just so happens that the rest of the people have not yet been caught, right? And I feel that, and this is why there is a need. If you cannot continue doing the same thing every time and expect a different result. Einstein says that is insanity. If you want to move away from the regular things that you are seeing, you must adopt a new process, adopt a new party, a new type of principle, a new type of ideal that will usher in a new Nigeria. You cannot be pouring new wine in an old flask and imagine that, something great is going to come out of it. It's not going to work like that. So for me, the Nigeria that has seen our currency weaken drastically over the last 8 years, has seen a situation where there's huge youth unemployment. The same people that have been controlling this country, they are still part of that system. So really, if we look at it based on the effect, the results of their management of Nigeria, they all don't qualify. So let's start from there and let's create a blank slate and say, you know what, we need a new type of leader. We need a new type of person that has empathy, that has shown a certain level of love for people. You see the mistake Nigerians make. We make a mistake by judging a person, a big man that has made money for himself, and say that he'll be a good leader.
Yes.
The man has made money for himself. He has not shown you capacity for empathy. You see, in this country, you need a leader that loves the people. If I have made money for myself, my son is flying presidential private jet to go and watch polo. This is what we have been doing. And you say he's a big man, so he'll be a good president. He'll be good for himself. He'll not be good for the people.
True.
You need leaders that have shown empathy. Whatever way, they've stood up for something that's bigger than themselves. They've taken a chance and taken a step to make sure that the lives of their community is better, not necessarily by sharing money. What have you stood for? What have you spoken out against? What boldness have you taken? What chances have you taken to say, no, this is wrong? Where is your integrity? These are the qualities that we should look for in leaders, because what we have found is we have put in rulers over us. That's why they are not accountable to us. And that's why they don't work to serve us, because they don't believe that they are going to get into position with our power. They are going to use their money. They are going to use violence.
And you know why? You know why 100% support what JRV is saying is, we live in a country where, bro, as Okiki is saying, the people she did she spoke to during elections are the same people that went ahead to steal ballot boxes. You understand? And then she could come go to ask them, Kilo Shele, but I told you this, I told you that, help me, blah, blah, blah. The truth is, no matter how we keep deceiving ourselves, Nigerian youth only listen to people that have money.
Wait, please, Nedu, please, let me say something.
I know why.
Because that was the part 2 of that, your question. Now, you see, when I ran for local government chairman, we did door to door. We got people to come out. I came third. PDP, you will say the party. His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, the party structure. And I could have still agreed with you. But after what I experienced in Lagos State in 2023, we had young people printing cap with their own money, doing T-shirt, mobilizing. We had young people that became polling unit agents because the Labour Party did not have agents at those polling units. We had young people recording, and we did not buy their votes.
I'll tell you why they did that. They did that because of Peter Obi.
You see, His Excellency Peter Obi has taken time to define himself as a different politician. he does not fit the mold of what we understand
And
the
he
politician
came
to
at
be.
the time that people were tired of what they were saying. They wanted something new.
But what also you have to see is the consistency of that behavior. Listen, I sat down with Peter Obi came at the time I was in PDP.
Yes.
He came to come and talk to the delegates that will go and vote in convention for who the presidential candidate would be. And I remember he wore white t-shirt, trouser, and he started speaking about statistics and everything. And, you know, when he left, party leaders were like, we don't know. Then I sat down with one of the major leaders and I said, Peter Obi is the man we need for Nigeria, but not the politician that we need for us.
Please say that again. A
Peter
major party
Obi,
leader.
Major party leader. I said, Peter Obi is the leader that we need for Nigeria, but not the politician that we need for us. Why is that? Because His Excellency Peter Obi believes in sharing a vision, lifting you up to that vision. So he will spend time educating you. While other politicians are not concerned about selling a vision. They just want you to take the money. I'll come here, we'll sing a song, we'll clap, we'll dance, I'll share money, I'll go. When it's time for the primary, I'll give you money and you vote for me. Do you understand? It's a completely different equation. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this. The youth are looking for a leader.
Yeah.
But the problem is the people that have been coming out are not worthy of the youth's votes. In the sense that you are not selling a vision. This is a new group of people. Yeah. His Excellency Peter Obi came and the message he was giving was what the youth wanted to hear. That's why they came out. People that are productive don't want to waste their time. Right? So while we might criticize the youth and say, you're not involved, I'm sorry, from what I have seen, I saw people come out. I know how many people that I went to go and pay their hospital bills that were youth. I know people that are Yoruba and because they dress a certain way in Ethiopia, they just believe that they were going to vote for Labour Party, so they start calling them Omoibo and stab them. They came out. I know people that after the violence of Peter Obi's election, because yes, you're right, Peter was the tsunami that brought down the war. But guess what? They could have all gone home after that tsunami, especially after that first election and he lost. They came out again. They came out. And these are people that they bought it to a vision. Because guess what? You can say, and this is why I wanted to come in. You can say His Excellency Peter Obi has been a governor before. He's a very successful man. He's wealthy. But Peter does not buy votes. In Lagos State, when you were seeing people marching on October 1st, going everywhere, Peter did not send money for that. For the election itself, he sent money for logistics, food for the polling unit agents and everything. That money was stuck in the bank till Tuesday after the election. So he won Lagos State without buying votes.
For the first time, I'm going to say it. A lot of people kept accusing me for things that I don't know nothing about. You know why I voted Peter Obi? I can clearly say it now. Now, why I voted Peter Obi was because I believed that people outside Nigeria that go believe, say, we started getting it right, they can come back to Nigeria and reinvest. Investments can come back into Nigeria. And we can have that what's in that word, what's in that thing when they say if national anthem of America, they sing, people go, they...
Patriotism.
Yes, we can have that patriotic thing to say, okay, if this guy can do it, let us all join hands together to make it work. It was going to be hard, but that was the main reason why I voted for him. Now, my only problem is, you mentioned it. In fact, you don't talk him before I talk him. Peter Obi did not buy votes. But is it possible that we can all vote and our vote would count? You can win an election without buying votes.
I believe that the time is going to come. You know, for me, there's an output of people. Yeah, there's a volume of votes that can come out in an election that cannot be rigged. Right? No matter how they want to try, once you are able to get a certain amount of people, and also the rhetoric, we must now start to put out messaging that lets the powers that be know that this cannot be the same anymore. Because After all the violence, after all the money, after everything, look at the situation of Nigeria. We are worse off than before the election. So elections have consequences. So as the majority in terms of population in this country, we must start letting the government know. I mean, look at Kano's situation that he went to court. They cannot play with Kano because they know what will happen in Kano. Power responds to power. And that's the sad thing. Power responds to power. If they know that they can give a judgment and Lagos State, yes, they'll be angry, but after a day or two, they will get on with their business and everything. Yes, they'll take us for granted, right? But we now need to start letting them know, right? Because that's how power, that's how new order is formed. It's also about the communication you're putting out, the ideas that you're putting out. We as people need to start showing that we're serious. We're going to come out in force because, you know, this is the issue. If you steal an election, you cannot work for the people's interest. And this is what has plagued Nigeria for so long. When Obasanjo won the first time, I mean, there are controversies around it and all of that. But when you look at the data, look at the quality of the ministers that he brought to run the affairs, you see the path. I mean, I was at MIT when Obasanjo was president. As soon as I finished, I came back. All my friends at Harvard came back. We felt that if we did not come back, we're missing out on a new Nigeria, on so much opportunity. There are people I will tell this to. I might tell you this now, and you cannot imagine the idea.
Everybody wants
that
jackpot
people
right now.
are running back to Nigeria as opposed to the other way around. But there was a time where that was the case because there was hope. And that happens when people feel that there is justice. Abiola had died. People wanted power rotation. The powers that be listened because they did not need to listen. They could have continued. It could have been northern oligarchy that was controlling Nigeria. But because everybody, the cry was loud. And that's what I mean. The youth have to start making that cry. They felt that, okay, you know what, for peace to reign, let power come to the south. That came and there was a semblance of justice and Nigeria took off. Unfortunately, it has started going downhill again. But back to your question, sorry, and I'll end it like this. The more the politician, and that's what Peter did, that's another thing he did. He was going and meeting people, churches, mosques, going everywhere, sharing a vision, talking to people. And like she said, meeting people and making them feel responsible, talking to them. The more we do that, the more work we do, the more people will get involved. And I believe that once numbers start getting to the same point, you cannot rig the election again. He won how many states? Yes, he might not have won the presidency, but he won in several states, right? So more work needs to be done. But my fear, and this is what a lot of people have not started talking about, is when a certain power that be believes that by violence they will continue getting their way, they must realize that at a point you cannot bully people further. They must fight back. And that is not in the interest of Nigeria. So they must start to get into their head that our heads are not just there for their machetes. Do you understand?
You just have to think.
Our heads are not just there to be bullied and beaten and, you know, that is not going to happen again. Because now you have set a precedent. We know what you're about. So we cannot continue like that. That's where I'll end that.
I have to ask you two questions.
No
in case
problem.
I don't find time to ask again.
You will.
First of all, I think that politics has never been a tea party anywhere. Nigeria's own is a battlefield. I mean, so I think that what people do is, these people do is, they know that poverty is something. So they impoverish everybody. Because if you have money, you're going to come and rub shoulders with me. So I make you poor. And then I put the, the ticket, the form. Million. So how are you even going to buy the form? To come and stand where I'm standing to say we have our ballot boxes with our names. So that way, they've already disenfranchised for whatever it's called, like half of the population. So like here I am, I can't buy. So there's
Even though you are competent.
Even though I'm competent and I have a good heart. I have a good heart, but I don't have good money. So there's nothing I can't do. There's nothing I can do. So I mean, I don't go relegation like
Yeah.
that. Now, the
Leicester
bad
City.
ones are the ones with the money. And they are the ones that call the shots.
Yeah, the one that have Godfather, he did not add
They
that.
are the ones that that have it. So it's not easy. It can't be handed down. That was what I wanted to say. Like there was one point. Yeah. I want to ask you two questions. What do you think about the what's it called? The beavers. What did you think? Did you think it was effective to some extent? And two questions so that I can let you answer them. And secondly, we all saw what, I mean, it's 1 year down the line. We all saw what played out. And if I must say so myself, you were a victim of, there's tribe, there's religion, and there's politics. And you were a victim of the tribal side.
Yeah.
How did that affect you?
I think your first question is very, very powerful. You see, the beaver system that was created was a beautiful system, I have to say. That system is what allows for people not to be able to hold voters' cards and just go and vote again. Because now your voters' card must be confirmed with a fingerprint before you're allowed to vote. So where it works properly, right, it's a system that brings a lot more credibility to our electioneering. Another thing was if they did electronic transmission of votes, that would have been fantastic. Because all of a sudden now, you've cut out all the magu-magu that happens at the Ward Coalition Center, at the local government coalition center, and all of that. People can start to see their results even before. And this happened in Ondo State, right? It happened. We're collating results of the Beavers system, and it was tallying with what they now announced. So that's why you see they didn't really fight or go to court or anything. Okay, so that's one. So unfortunately, that was compromised. We saw that it was not working, and considering how much money was spent on it, how much money was collected from America, the European Union for it, people should go to jail on top of that matter. Considering how much money was spent on all of that, there should be people going to jail or people returning money. There must be consequences. You cannot spend that kind of money, create a failure of a system, right? Do not live up to the expectations and what you by yourself said you would do, and you just carry on and just as if, nothing happened. So that's the first thing. On this tribal matter in Lagos State is a very, very deep matter, right? First of all, it is a distraction. It's a tool for distraction. Why? Because yesterday I was at Herbert, I was at Herbert's tribute, right, yesterday. And a gentleman came and told a story about how Herbert, an Igbo man, Herbert was his very good friend. And that Igbo man, because Herbert was working with Fola Adiola in GTB, introduced Dangote to Herbert, and Herbert got Dangote to open his first account in GTB. And then we also now heard about how one of the sons of Diamond Bank, what's that family? Edozie. Also was working with Fola Adiola in GTB. When I was listening to all these men talk, I realized that when people are productive and are working and are busy, nobody cares about tribe. Rich, wealthy people don't care about tribe. They want excellence. Their children are marrying themselves. It is you that is not productive, that's suffering, that they are bringing this tribe thing to. Because, and this goes past people's personal relationships. Also look at countries. You look at the East Coast, West Coast of America that are open and, they are dealing with people based on merit and everything. They have booming economies. Then you go to the Middle Belt and you see they're suffering from mentality, but they're also very bigoted, they're close-minded. Now, that's just a general idea. Now come to Lagos precisely. Look at what happened to Jimmy Agbaje. Jimmy Agbaje is not Mama Omo Nkechi. Jimmy Agbaje is Ikorodu royal elite. His father, his grandfather, we can trace their pedigree. There is no controversy. but we're calling him Jimmy Chukwu. They put banners in Lagos Island. So you see that what it is that they want to distract you. They want to divide and rule. And they also want a situation where anybody that stands up against the ruling party is somehow his Yorubaness is taken away from him. He no longer qualifies as a Yoruba man. I was standing next to the first granddaughter of Awolowo because she ran for House of Assembly under the Labour Party for Apapa local government. And the Yoruba APC knew that she was the first granddaughter of Awolowo and called her an Omo Ali because she's in Labour Party. This is so what are you holding on to? We look at Awolowo as the person that did so much for the Yoruba nation, for the Yoruba people. His first granddaughter, your respect goes away because she's challenging a status quo. So Kukuma let us know that you just want a one-party state. So that's a distraction. Now, come to me. I ran for local government election, Kowa Party. He knows, in Ikeja. My name was Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour. Gbadebo Chinedu Rhodes-Vivour. These are my names. My mother is Igbo, my father is Yoruba. From Lagos, from a family whose history goes back 400 years. You cannot question my pedigree in Lagos. The city hall is built on my family land. I cannot get more Lagos than that. And the people that know, right? And when you now come and see, you bring up a 2019 poster. I'm not the one that printed all my posters. There are people that were printing posters for me. And even on that poster that they say Chinedu, Gbadebo, Rhodes-Vivour, is there. It's there. It's part of my identity and I embrace it and I love it. Now, what the problem is that you had a lot of people that just, again, distraction. Because the number one desperation, and you saw that desperation, especially in my election on the APCs, they do not want us to take control and expose all the stealing that they have been doing. They don't want us to expose what is really happening on Alpha Beta. They don't want us to expose what's happening on the blue line. There is so much going on over the last 20 years that they are desperate to hold on to control for. And that's why you saw that level of desperation. See, I know about Oro. Oro is never done during the day. The moment kings that know better are doing Oro during the day, you see where the problem is. Then you have the violence. Then they are calling me all sorts of names. And you know what is even worse? Is that Lagos is like no other state in Nigeria. Lagos State, you have their worries that had the intelligence to be able to work with the Benin Kingdom, where the Benin Kingdom now created the kingship in Lagos State, and their worries were the landowners, and they had that marriage, right? So that was there. They now had the colonial people that started coming and trading with them. Then you now had the returnees. First, obviously, they were trading slaves, which was terrible, right? But then, and they built so much, but then the returnees now came, because think about it, these returnees are people that survived the slave trade, did not die along the way, were successful, made money, and
So
now
that's a
came
comeback,
back.
yeah.
So this is like the best of the best.
Yes.
Right? They came back
The
with money.
Cardosos and the rest
Yes,
of
they
them.
came back with money. They started building Lagos Island out. So you had those ones return to Lagos. Then Lagos State was now colonized. The capital of Nigeria was now Lagos. Right? When we got our independence, capital of Nigeria was now Lagos. So you had so many people coming to Lagos and contribute to its development. We have been exposed. We are dealing with people. We have gone past tribe. Right? And that's why Lagos is what it is. If you take the top 1,000 richest people in this country, they have a base, a house, or a business in Lagos State. That's not the same for any other part of the country, maybe apart from Abuja. And Abuja is federal capital territory. So Lagos, the reason why you take pride, Lagos State is generating so much money. This is money that's coming from Nigerians. You cannot be so happy that you are generating so much money from the whole of Nigeria, but then you believe that you want to now be bigoted in how the politics of Lagos should go, right? And then there's a whole other struggle, which is the indigenes of Lagos that are literally saying to their Yoruba brothers that, listen, we are being cheated. We have not been in charge of our state for so long. It is not fair. If you believe in justice and equity, we cannot come to Oyo and get position. We only have our village, Lagos. So please let us be in charge of our things here. Please. That's what Mubaraji Johnson fought for. Because we have our own obas, we have our own history, we have our own traditions. So let us be in charge of our place. The way you are in charge of Ogun, you're in charge of Oyo, you're in charge of Ondo. Let us indigenes also be in charge. So these are all the things that are played out.
I want to ask one
So,
question.
Baba, no vex. I want to ask where Elon Musk.
Before Elon Musk.
No, he
Talk about
related
that
to.
indigenous
Yes,
stuff,
he related
like
to
he
the
said.
tribal this thing. Elon Musk tweeted that politics is more tribal rather than logical, and he got a lot of people talking, and he even brought back this conversation about Lagos for Lagosians, Anambra for Anambrarians, Abia for Abians, Enugu for Enuguans, and the rest of them. Although Elon Musk never come honest bunch, come explain what he mean, but people don't give different interpretation to that when he talk.
But when they say Lagos for Lagosians, honestly, I feel the same way, right? In terms of being in charge of your state.
It should be normal.
It should be normal. It's only, but you see, like I said, Lagos is like no other state. Lagos State is a state that has had 2 Igbo governors, admirals, military administrators. I also say, this is another thing. When they say that these non-indigenous want to take over, we had 2 commodores that are Igbo as governors. Are they the ones that converted Lagos State property to their personal property? The one on Bodilon, or the former deputy governor's house that's on Queen's Drive, that's now somebody's property as well. They are not the ones that did it. You go to all the indigenous communities, Badagry, Ojo, Ikorodu, even Ibejuleki. Go and ask the indigenes who is taking their land. Let me give you an example. In Ibejuleki, if you know Amen Estate, opposite Amen Estate, they will tell you that the current first lady has gotten this land for new era, her foundation. Go and talk to the Ibejuleki indigenes there. They just came one day and said they are taking all this land, that they will settle them. They say, okay, you settle us, your government, at least you settle us now. When it was time for settlement, they came with bag of 50 naira notes and cola. When the people saw it and started complaining, their soldiers just started shooting the air and chased them away. Now today, that land is now for the first lady for her foundation. So who are the biggest land grabbers? Is it the non-indigenous or the non-Yoruba speaking people in Lagos? Is it the non-Yoruba speaking people in Lagos that are converting Bodilon that belongs to Lagos State? Go and look at all the properties that Lagos State had after the capital moved away from Lagos to Abuja, and see who has just been taking it for their personal possession. So this idea of people who want to take over, help me make it make sense. APGA has produced Igbo candidates in this Lagos State. Did the Igbo people or non-indigenous vote for him? Go and look for the results that man got. I promise you, not up to 600 people. Not up to 600 people. They voted for PDP, right? And PDP produced an indigene of Lagos as a candidate. So really, if someone wants to take over your land, an APGA, an Igbo party, has come out with a candidate, should be all of them will gather in their town square and say, oh yeah, all of us, so this is our brother, let's vote for him. Oh. Did they do that? So when you see all these things that they put out there, you realize that it's just a distraction. They want you to be so focused on tribalism while they continue looting and stealing for the Commonwealth. But then you'll now be seeing that the number of young boys that are on the road are increasing. Number of young boys that are on drugs are increasing. Because guess what? Now, we are no more valuing productivity, education, upliftment. Everybody now wants to be the next MC Ulomo. So we are exalting violence, because violence is what our ogas are telling us to do. We are standing on the streets, we are not productive, we are just going and taking people, shaking people, collecting, Okada, Asho, whatever it is. You just see that it continues to get worse and worse and worse.
Another question I want to ask.
Okay. Can I quickly? Okay, now, GRV, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Did you join LP because of, you've spoken about Peter Obi. Did you join because of Peter Obi or because of LP has been that political party that is that people don't know about, but is actually a good political party? Or did you join because of Peter
The
Obi?
influence of Peter Obi.
You know all the drama that happened in the PDP. And when those kind of things happen, you know, you start to talk to people, you consult, right? And there was a conversation that people that felt that Labour Party, PDP, sort of did not handle things properly, they were all forming a coalition and going somewhere, right? It was easy for me to join Labour Party because, first of all, I could relate to what His Excellency Peter Obi was pushing, the message was pushing. I told you about a conversation we had after we left. That conversation was, this man is the man that Nigeria needs. But the political class is not the politician for this political class. So I already was sold with his message, right? And we joined. And if you know, there's a timing of joining so you can still do your own primary. So that joining was way before this thing took off.
Okay.
Do you understand? I know we might look at it and okay, everybody joined. No, there's a timing for it. There was a time where we joined and everything was still quiet, and then start building up.
Okay. Now, there's a question I want to ask is for you as well and for Okiki. Now, I can't remember where I heard this. It's not a popular opinion. It's just very few that thinks it. That the governorship of Lagos is given to families. And that the Lagos state is, I can't remember where I heard this, is handled by a trust, more like a company that runs the Lagos state. And that Lagos state government, like governorship, now based on this family 9 day next, this family go choose, that family go choose. I don't know where I heard this. Is that true?
No.
Because don't on the hide fish.
No.
I don't know if you've heard this before.
I will tell you that is absolutely not true.
Okay.
And it's not true for several reasons. Just look at the history. I mean, Mobolaji Johnson, yes. We also respect Fashola and his Lagos lineage, but most of the other people don't really have that family history in Lagos State. And you know, okay, so this is the thing. Lagos State, indigenes of Lagos, there are very few. So that's why I say Amorawa. We know ourselves, right? You meet somebody and he will tell you, your grandfather did this, your grandfather, like they know themselves. There are not many, right? So if you say, if it was within those people, it was circulating, you can say, okay, some families are doing this and that, but that's not the case.
Okay.
Ambode, for the most part, was from Ondo before he now started claiming his Ekpe roots and did fantastic.
What if it was one of the family that chose him?
No, I think there is one man.
I'm just
There's
saying.
one man. There's one man that determines who the governor of Lagos is in APC, and that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I don't know why we are shying away from this. If you work with him, I mean, Fashola was his former SA, I believe. You also had Ambode that was working with him at
An accountant or
yes,
something.
and then you had Sonolu that was also working. These are people that work closely with him, right? So that doesn't have anything to do with the families of Lagos State or
Okay.
any of that
I wanted
conspiracy.
to even talk. I think this blends in with the indigenship thing.
Yeah.
I ran in a constituency where I'm from. My mom and my dad are both Lagosians. My father has his dad and his mom from Lagos. So it's like Lagos. And when I decided to run, that's when they started reminding me that that's your name. It looks as if it's from Oyo.
Ah.
And I was like, you know my father. My father is a chief in this place. So how can you be relating me to? My dad will explain. He walk on it that they keep saying, hey, what? But as soon as they leave that meeting, they're like, And I am full Lagosian. This is not him talking about Igbo or Yoruba. This is me, full Lagosian. Nobody's coming from Ogun State. Nobody's coming from any other Yoruba state. This is a full Lagosian looking at you. I still had controversy with indigenship.
What?
So it was like, when they left, they couldn't deny indigenship again. It went to female.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
From female, it went to young. So
They will look for something.
they will look for something.
Even went to that, do you have boyfriend? Serious. Yes,
It's actually
now.
Are you
very
serious?
true.
Yes.
I had somebody ask me if I had a boyfriend, and I was like, "That's not the reason why I came to speak to you." He said, "He's asking me now so that at least if he's my boyfriend, when I get to the position, he can obtain the title of being my husband." And these are realities that, in fact, it's funny when you are on
serious?
campaign
Yes,
when
ma'am.
they are asking you. I've had situations where people say, "Oh yeah, I want to invest in your campaign. Come to this so hotel number kini. So we should not even get to that point where we are even talking about females in politics. We're talking about general politics
No, we're
now.
coming
where
there actually.
Indigenship is a very, very big issue. Even if you're an indigene, they will try to make it feel as if you were from Mars.
But-
And then you
But-
just
but-
drop.
But sorry. But you see, again, you'll find that it's only a certain group of people that are doing this.
Yes.
You are not going and saying, I'm sure you
Not
are not
only
going and
that-
saying your opponent, is this person really
Funny thing is that in 2019, my opponent was my cousin.
okay?
And so at some point they had to make it look as if I was nowhere to be found. So that thing is, you are even female, drop for him. Probably when you drop, when you just drop it down, when he gets to that position, he will bring you in.
Find you
He will-
something.
and I'm like, what vision does he have for this constituency that we are running together for? And they're like, oh, those market people. He was just saying so many things, and I was like, oh, please, bros, rest. We'll meet ourselves at the polling unit. Another funny thing is, I'm so sorry.
Gbadebo
Another
Jogo.
funny thing is that I'm the only female in Oshodi Solo that ever gets to the polling unit. That polling point, every time is at the primaries, they throw you down. That's all. That's where you.
What big banker.
That's the most. If they don't threaten you with your husband, with your child, with. Luckily, when I was running, I said,
No,
I
husband,
said,
no boyfriend, no
no
child,
husband, no
yeah.
boyfriend, no family, no solo. Go and do your worst. He said, if you want to carry my mother and my father, is your uncle, is your auntie, carry all of them. At some point, do you know, during campaign, my dad used to tell us to leave our gate open.
Why?
My dad say, "Itoba be that no one."
What's the meaning?
Anybody in
Everybody
a
when
born
they're
way.
born well.
Everybody when they born, when they pass these gates. And this was somebody that I'd always had belief for. He had followed ACN to AC to, and I ran under another party entirely. But that man said, because that you are my daughter and I know what you want to do. I've never received 5 naira from anybody since I got into this place. So anybody that comes to meet me, they busted him one night and they told him that, hey, Oda, where do you keep the money? And I say, my dad is a navigator, but what cock is God? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? So they left saying that at some point they broke car glasses. They looked for other means to just
That's the
make
problem.
sure.
Intimidation.
To
And
intimidate.
Baba, that's the reality.
That's
This
the
thing wey we tell you, no be
reality.
joke.
That's the reality of things. And I keep, at some point I said I was never going to talk about the sexual violence that women face in politics, but it is so deep that
I was coming there.
it is so deep that most of the time even when people that normally should support you hear that you're running for office, the first thing is that you would have done one Oshofri here, there to even get the ticket.
What
So,
buy us soon?
yes. So there should be if you
Who sleep with that
why will
person?
you give this one and not give me? I want to take you to the next level. I can take you to this one. I can take you to so there's also a point of desperation where you're like, okay, this guy say we'll do it. Let me see if I can.
Let me sleep with this person.
There are a lot of
Women
other
don't
young
suffer. Women
females
don't
that
suffer.
we grew up together.
Everywhere.
We started
Everywhere.
politics together. I met during some, Yaga Africa conference, and that when we started talking, I started seeing that there are a lot of things that they have been through. And then me, I'm just like, if you feel like that's how you want to do it, no, I won't fault you. Maybe that's the point that you got to. I've been hit against the wall just because of you will not give me care. You will not give me care. You that I know, you this small guy. I know I'm petty, that I'm easy to carry and swipe on the floor. So it got to a point where I had to God. That's why I said that there are certain points where I got home and I cried my eyes out and I'm like, on top waiting now. It's not as if I wasn't eating well.
Somebody that wants to save.
It wasn't. It's not to be say I know they chop well. Not be say anything. So why is it this deep?
It brings me back to the point where I think, going by what you said, JRV, a lot of people are looking for things to be better for themselves, not for the people at large. Before you come, I had a meeting with you. You remember? in Ikoyi. You remember where? I don't want to
Yes,
mention the person's
yes, yes.
house. There were a lot of things that GRF said that I was happy about. I'm like, this is the kind of leadership we need. But guess what? A lot of people will stifle it to the point where road go spoil for your area. You want to fix the road, you have the money to fix the
bill
road.
you.
They'll tell you no, you have to pay.
Baba, you don't even talk about fixing road.
You pay.
Before you go on, one of my egbon been give me example of engineer for one of the states for Nigeria. The engineer, the people bid for contracts, in bid, collect the job, did a fantastic job. You know how you go do job, people go even they do videos, say, the contractor when do this road, he do it well, then they happy. More jobs there now. He do that one so that 6 months, they no call him for another one. 1 year, they no call him. 2 years, they no call him. Now so he come meet in contact person, say, how far?
They do
I do the job well. Who no call me? The other ones when they even swear for them, say after them do so till the road don't spoil. The person contact and say, you, then give you contract. You do the road well.
Where?
If everybody do road well, the
I
next
want a
time, who
job.
then go call?
Yeah, we want a chop.
That's the reality.
That is the
If
reality.
everybody do the road, you they call me now. If everybody do road well, next time who they will call. So his own undoing was
Is
the
that he
fact
did a
that
good
he
job.
did a good job.
Imagine.
And that's the and now what I want to say, no be Nigeria to work for them. So long as their standing don't improve, Nigeria can go to hell.
Okay,
That's what it is.
please, I want to come in here because you see, the Nigerians of today are not the Nigerians that created the greatness of the Nigeria that we remember before. Now, please, if you look at, let me give you an example. Herbert Macaulay, his grandfather was Ajayi Crowther. Just take Lagos State. This is the cream of the cream, elite of the elite. He did not have any business going to go and form alliance with market women, going around and creating a political body, getting locked up by the British, getting tied to a light pole. He could have just done fine boy, go to England. But he came out and started fighting and campaigning to ensure that other people are free. That was the quality of Nigerians that we had. Now, please, when we talk, I know that we must push and let Nigerians know where they are failing, but Nigerians are the product of a very poorly managed system. Every one of us here has to figure out a way to provide our own light. That's what the society, the government is supposed to do. Every one of us here has to find a way to manage security in one way or another. Even if you are living in a flat, somehow your service charge is contributing to your own security. Right? People in England are not doing that. They just pay tax. The government takes care of all of these things. You now need to figure out how to pay rent on a yearly basis at once. I don't think you understand the kind of stress that puts on a human being. In England, you're paying your rent as you get your salary every month. Somehow, in this country, you're supposed to find all that money together and pay at once.
Healthcare, Uncle.
Healthcare. You don't have health insurance. You have to go and find money to buy your car at once. You have to find money to what's the other thing? Buy your car at once. There's no mortgage. Buy your house at once. The pressure on the regular Nigerian that the government's supposed to take away. I'll give you an example. My grandfather, his driver's child was in the same school as his son. And the school fee was barely anything. So that driver could drive and not be worrying about paying school fees for his child.
And the quality of the
And the
education.
quality of the education, which most of the political elite are beneficiaries of.
Free.
Free,
They are wicked.
right? But today, less than 18% of the population that are going to school are in government school. You find a driver, a house help is trying her hardest to find a way to send her child to private school.
And it's jealousy meal. not good. Yeah, not good public. Not even a standard private
Can
school.
they even
But it's
afford
jealousy
public
me.
school?
But the idea is that they are doing everything because they want the best for their children. But this is where a social welfare system comes in, so that even if you are not earning as much, right, your basic necessities are being taken care of. You have ease to access. Now, I say all this to give context to the reality of Nigerians, their frustration. I'm not justifying it. When people sometimes life works in a paradox, right? When you stop chasing love, love finds you. Those kind of paradoxes. When you stop thinking about just yourself and you start thinking of the collective, things get better for you yourself. So it's about engaging our people to understand that, yes, I understand that you're thinking for yourself, but it's short term. Because at the end of the day, that money they give you at election, today now you're buying a bag of rice for 80,000 naira.
Oh.
You're buying a bag of rice for 80,000 naira. You that were getting inhaler for 5,000 naira, now you cannot breathe. You're paying 30,000 naira.
35,000 naira.
35,000 naira. Right? You are doing forming alaye and everything. Your guy sent his children to America. When they are giving him money, they give him money in dollars. So regardless, he's okay. Are you okay? So now let us start thinking in the collective interest, right? So that if life is better for the majority of us, life will be better for you.
Which is why I talk about the Commonwealth.
Yes.
Which is why I talk about the Commonwealth. There are two things I want to talk about. I'm coming to you, Kiki. The question I want to talk to you about, I'm going to come to dollar issue with you, and because what I hear a lot about dollar issue and the way economy, because this is 1 year after the elections. Are we better off or worse off? If
we're taking baby steps.
Are we baby steps, baby? If we're telling ourselves the truth,
Maybe I've started walking now.
Baby that is writing jam.
No, but don't forget that the person that carried the baby before for 8 years,
He crippled the baby.
the baby
Who is the person that created that baby?
Who give the belly for the
Who
baby?
give the belly?
If we are being honest,
It's still family matter.
Nigeria
failure.
has always been. I tell my brother here, he knows. Nigeria has always been a retrogressive country. As Yaradua enter, everyone was people were a bit happy when Yaradua was there, but complaints were still around. No, Yaradua, mamas, you get me? Yaradua can't get illness. Now he can't go hospital. Before Yaradua even go hospital, things come begin. So people say, I wish that the person wait day 9 days before Yaradua. Now Yaradua can't come out. Good luck Jonathan can't enter. People begin complain, say, I wish say na good luck Jonathan 9 days, not be Yaradua. Meanwhile, before Yaradua, they complain, say you wish that the person waited before Yaradua na enter. Good luck Jonathan, everybody shout, good luck Jonathan, get out, good luck Jonathan, get out. Buhari enter. Now, I wish say na good luck Jonathan 9 days, not be Buhari.
You were like a father to us.
You're like, it's so bad that people prefer the first tenure of Buhari to the second tenure. Now, before our boo-boo left, what did he say? He said, you are going to miss me. Are we not missing it now? Are we not missing him now? Before he left, how much was dollar?
Bro.
So what does that tell you? We're retrogressive people. Now, the question I'm asking you, what do you think is that thing that we can do? Baba, fair. We don't want, at this point, let's not go forward. At least let us just
Stabilize.
let us just stabilize. What can we do to at least stabilize?
I understand why you say Nigeria is retrogressive, but I also disagree because Obasanjo's government was nothing. You cannot call that government retrogressive. I know that whole third-term agenda actually kind of stained the legacy to an extent of what he achieved. But when you look at the quality of ministers that were with him, I think Okonjo was in his government now. Okonjo-Iweala, that's the current.
Yes.
What was she? WTO?
Yeah, World Bank. Yeah.
You look at what they achieved with Nigeria's debt. How much of that debt got written off? You look at the quality of ministers they had. You see, unlike what the politicians have done today, where
If
they
you
just
look
bring...
I started counting from Yara Odoado.
Yes, I know.
He
When
even
they
had
start-
somebody in the opposition, Bababola Ige.
Yes. When they start counting, they start bringing their fellow politicians to come and be ministers, right? And you just see that they are kind of inept, right? And so for me, you need a president that has a vision. First, let's
True.
start with that, a vision.
True.
And a vision that president wants to sell. We have to move away from this Ghana must go politics. We share money, we buy our way in, and then we figure it out. Nigeria currently is running on vibes as far as I'm concerned. Because when you just see how it's just going down, I saw the body of statistics. They've changed how they define unemployment rate, and somehow unemployment rate has fallen by 30% in this same Nigeria. That I know people that are firing people every other week, not because they are bad people, but just because they cannot afford
Yes.
their salary burden. You are telling me, right? So we must have a government that does not lie to the people, right? That's the way you get back public trust. And they must have a leader that leads by example. We can no longer afford to be wasteful. You cannot say that, oh, Nigeria is poor, Nigeria is suffering. The previous government did all of these things. But guess what? We are going to buy the same amount of cars that they did from the same people. We are going to fund the First Lady's office the same way. And guess what? We might also buy a presidential yacht. There's a disconnect. Every time I think about it, it reminds me of what caused the French Revolution. I'm just waiting for that French Revolution to happen, because when they went to go and meet Antoinette and they said the people are hungry, said, let them eat cake. It just shows out of touch leadership are. Because imagine a situation where, okay, once we remove subsidy, things are going to be difficult. Over this month, we are going to just put palliatives and things in place across all states, distribution channels with local communities, mosques, churches, to make sure that people that are affected by these things will be taken care of. And then as the president, I'm going to use my own personal vehicles to move around so we limit our cost. You said that example. At time president has done that, Senate has to fall in line. At time Senate has done that, House of Rep has to fall in line.
Governors.
They are now looking at governor. You are now looking like, I can't curse, but you look very stupid to now say that president has done this. You now want to go and buy this bulletproof Toyota Prado. And think about all this naira that's converted to dollars and sent out of the country. Right? And then you now start to have a situation where the business leaders start to see what the government is doing. They start to key in. Investors start to invest in Nigerian-made vehicles. Those ones can now be publicly listed. Growth booms. I've just described a potential cycle from one decision.
Back to what I said. Why? But anyway.
But this comes down to empathy. And having servant leaders that truly want to serve and are not just about, I am a big man, it is my turn.
See, I think it's a good place.
What of people? Sorry to say it before the good place. Keep that good place. I'm sorry to say this. I mean, yes, you mentioned the fact that I heard you talked about the cars and stuff. Now, you are one person in the Labour Party. I've heard this. I've seen videos of people talking about it, that they're complaining about the cars that the Senate, the House of Rep are giving. But the Labour Party members are still collecting the cars.
I wanted to say something about that too. That when the whole car thing happened, the yacht, the whatever, I'm like, where is the minority that claimed they were going to change the system by being elected?
Why are they collecting the cars too? And then, while I tweeted that, I saw some, I'm like, I didn't come here to fight with anybody. The point I'm just trying to make is that you are first a human before you are even a politician. So if you are a bad human, you're going to be a bad father, a bad politician, a bad lover, a bad whatever. Bad sugar daddy.
If you are a good person, you're going to be all of that. Most of the time, they always say that when you get into a certain profession, you change into this, you change into that. My dad is a captain, is a this, is a that. He's still the most calm person that you find. They say they are quick to anger, they are quick to this, they want to. But when we offend my dad, he's like, I have told you, you don't do these things like this. This is how you should do it. It's called, my mom is the opposite, but I know that is how my dad is. I'm like, I dey see my papa and I dey see other captains. Why is there? So it's first, you are a human being before. I studied chemistry in school. I'm doing politics now.
Correlation.
Tomorrow I can wake up and say I want to go back to chemistry. But then it's because I have thought about it and I feel like, yes, I'm a human being that wants better. I'm a human being that wants change. I'm a human being that wants my children to be able to say, oh, I like what you did there. I want to emulate. I like what somebody did there. I want to emulate. So what exactly is I'm not like they said, it takes a village to raise a child. I'm not enough for my family. They will go to school. They will make friends. They will talk to other people. So all these people now, who are they going to be? So I'm concerned about those things. That's why I said that if there's a bad politician, it started from being a bad human being. That's just it.
Let me come from another angle. I think what we need is a fundamental shift. Now, I want to believe that if His Excellency Peter Obi was the president, he would have set that example. I can vouch for the fact that he will not go and start buying imported cars immediately. I can vouch for that. Now, if he sets that example, the members in House of Rep or Senate will have to follow suit. Now, so that's one potential path. The other path, which is what played out in reality, is that, you see, there are a lot of people that came into the Labour Party as this is a movement and we're on board this movement.
Tap into it.
It was not so much about an alignment of ideologies, right? You believe what you believe. Like, I don't like waste, right? I would upgrade a 2008 Mercedes to a 2015 and feel no way about it if the engine is still good, right? I believe in recycling. I'm an architect. I like sustainability. So that is me. Now, that also ties into financial waste, material waste, all of that. So it's very easy for me to key into what the vision of His Excellency Peter Obi. That does not mean that every other member of Labour Party keys into it, because he is not the founder of Labour Party.
True, he's only a member.
He's a member, and Labour Party existed for a very long time before we all joined. So there must now be a situation where a leader that has this mentality, that's not profligate, that's not wasteful, comes into place, whips things into place, and then that now starts to form the nucleus of a party where individuals should to say, I know if we join that Labour Party, they know they share money. I know if we join that Labour Party, they know they chop money.
Or they're too serious.
They're too serious.
They won't work for the people.
Exactly.
So that we will separate the wheat from
You
the
now
chaff.
start separating. Because, there's never really been an ideology movement in this country, at least in our lifetime. I mean, there was the independence and all of that, but this ideology of whether it is about...
It's like having a Republican and a Democrat.
Okay, I am for restructuring. You are not for restructuring, so we cannot be in the same party. I am for transparency and accountability. I want your money, so I know if you did this party.
Call me out.
Let me go and fight these people so that we can take over and be sharing money the way we used to do it. So that is the direction, and that's what I was talking about, where we're talking about moving Nigeria to another level. Because the problem is, if we keep doing the same of the same, doing dancing chairs,
and expect a different result.
No,
you see, a cancer just gets worse and worse and worse, and the solution is to cut it out. If you say you want to play with that cancer, you say this leg is okay, but this leg is paining, you're still going to manage. Eventually, that cancer will reach here.
True.
And the person that will be dealing with you 10 years from down the line will not know you when you used to walk.
Yes.
It's now, you cannot stand over, they manage and they go. So the point I'm trying to make with that illustration is we must have a radical shift for what currently has served us, because it has not served us well.
Let's talk about women. And I would want, Deity Cole and Ezinne and Okikiola to...
Women in politics.
May they drive this conversation. May they drive this conversation. So I have had the opportunity of, attending political gatherings, and I have seen how creative women can get.
Yes.
If women say then they support you, I don't want no Jupiter.
That is true.
They not get waiting to stop them.
One of my egbon, Honorable Jimmy Benson, did this thing in Ikorodu, and I attended, and I heard the women singing songs. Then they sing song to use enter the other political party. And I found it really very, very creative, because now when we did primary school, all those mama, papa school, you form a popular song will become
Jingle.
a political diss song. They go put the name of the opponent. So it was Chimi Agbaje, and the song was something about customer dada. He had contested several against the, and I found it really very, very interesting. And the way the women used to move, it was really very nice. Then if you look at the example of Mrs. Jennifer, the woman who was stabbed in the eye. But
During the election
after the
process,
dressing, she came back,
yeah.
to still cast her vote. It shows the resilient spirit of the Nigerian woman. But it be like, say, somehow, the reality of our politics, no lie, oh. If me and you stand for polling unit, me as a big lady, they slap me. You when you be soft baby girl, you don't see where grown man like me, it gets some slap when go bring you down. You understand? How do you now expect that person to still want to play or participate actively in that area? So using your experience and our soft baby girls, how do you think that we can get more women to participate actively in politics?
Okay, I think that I'm going to give an example. When people want to buy goat meat, they will say, buy the man, don't buy the woman. The woman know the quick done.
Male goat meat.
It means that we are tough. We might be subtle, but whatever we want to do, we must see the end. That's why they say marry a good woman. Even if you're a bad man, marry a good woman. Yes. Yeah. So, life is not fair to us. I know you guys will say, oh, life is fair to the ladies, face card, blah, blah, blah. Life is not fair to us at some extent. For example, there are things that men will do and get away with it. When a woman does it, they'll say, it's a woman. So because of that, it has made us move back, sit back most of the time. And secondly, family. In this part of the world, a man is supposed to go out and hustle while the woman sits back and takes care of the children. And there's this popular saying that once you start having children, once you have your child, you're not getting yourself back. Before you adjust back into the world, it's taking another 6 years before you fully set the child free and say, okay, you can do some things by yourself. You have to nurture that child. You're never even free. That's what she's saying. So that is I think that's a major hindrance for women to participate politically in the Nigerian politics, because there are meetings at 12 a.m. There are meetings at 1 a.m. And your 9-to-5 husband is not going to sit down at home. And you say you're having meeting with Alaji this and Alaji that.
Caucus meeting.
And your children are also there. I mean, apart from politics, there are other professions too that don't favor us women because of the way it goes. But men can run along and just go and stay days. And so far as there's a woman at home, he's okay. But a man will not sit down at home and say, oh, let me see that. Only a few men can do that. So I think that that's a problem to us. So the only way women can participate more in politics is if we have men that understand that, okay, let her fly. I can sit back. Two people cannot be.
I think that is more like the peripheral reason for not being part of politics for women. For me, if you ask me, I think more women should be in politics. Because Baba Mo not lie. Women go whip. If not 10 men in the house, a woman can whip everybody in shape in the house. Can make you do something. And like I said earlier, a woman, you can give a woman a house. She makes it a home. A woman can decide. Baba, you not get how. Imagine say you be sugar daddy now. Woman come meet you, say, what's my say? Oh, they buy one boys, they sorry, one votes for me. You first of all, you go know whether she get good ideas or something. Then you will know what to do. I think for me, not be all low, because you get women with the thief money.
Can I point out something?
Sorry.
Real quick.
What I was going to say is one will suffer.
Finished, but it's okay.
Sorry, one will suffer. You can't carry two.
So you think because women
if you are involving fully in politics,
you not go get husband, you not go get family.
I didn't say you will not have husband
One
or
will
have
suffer.
family. One will suffer. You cannot carry these two things and you will carry them effectively.
I kind of disagree with you because I have friends that their parents are into politics, their moms are into politics, either deputy governor, this, that. Have you ever thought about all those Yasales? I want to start from that. All those Lagos Island women that they are in politics, that they've started. It's just that people don't put lights on women. There are lots of women in politics and they are doing it well. They carry their family well. They carry everything well. I have friends that their parents are in like they're the top executives like in their company, and they still have time for them. Everything, they are well protected. Fine, it's to be their children that are connected, like, oh, child of this, child of that. Their parents might be opponents or enemies, but their children are working. Like, they are friends, they attend the same school. So I believe that more women just need to come out. We need to highlight, like,
Celebrate them more.
Celebrate them more.
True.
So that people will know that they are actually women in politics and they are actually doing it right.
I want to come from a different angle. I think that women need strong father figures. If you listen to her talk, she's referenced her father over 7-8
Thousands of
times.
times.
I've been keeping track. And her father has been such a force. Maybe you might not be aware, but your father has played such a force in your life that you cannot help, when you're talking about your passion, you're referencing him. That comes from having a solid father figure. So our women need more, and as men as well, we should create fearless, hardworking, independent women that we can believe in and push to the world and say, we have your back, go and conquer. Right? We should not just be telling our women that they should go and know how to cook or go
For your
and
husband.
just for, no. Women that want to be, want to flourish, want to fearless, we must encourage them as well. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you see, this idea of political meetings at night, this idea of this is how politics is because the bulk of the people that are in that party, that are in that politics, they are making decisions. It's not spirit. It's not. If women come into a party and they make up that huge majority and they want to set party meeting, this woman will say, I have to be at home at 7.
Okay.
That meeting will happen at 7. Power reflects and obeys power. Women, like you said it. If women carry your matter on their head, it takes a force of God to stop that thing. So what I'm saying is more women, and I like that idea also, spotlighting achievements of women. And I mean, it's just like what she said, all those Mama Isales. If you look at Herbert Macaulay, he would never have gone as far as he did without the market women and the market leaders who were mostly female that were behind him, right? So women are doing great things and they're also balancing homes. But I agree with you in the sense that sometimes you might not have everything balanced. So for instance, the truth of the matter is during election season, my family suffers. Right, I don't spend as much time with my family. I come back home, I'm dead tired around 2 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 5. By 6:37, I'm on the road again. So there's that period. But thank God it happens every 4 years, right? In between time, you try and make up for it. You try and gain enough credit, top up enough so that when that time comes, your credit will deplete small. That's another thing. But lastly, what I truly believe is that the ideology of any party is the reflection of the majority of the people in it. So more women should get involved in politics so they start determining the thing. Because if men are the ones just making decisions, they don't care now. Hey, let's meet at 12 o'clock.
Well, what is the incentive for them to come? What makes it? What you guys are already there that are also championing the cause of more women should come in. How do you guys? What's the incentive? What are you guys doing to make it attractive? And
I don't think it's about, and that's a mistake. I don't think it's about what people are doing to make it attractive. I think you in yourself must have a why. Why do I want to be in politics? You don't have to run. You can be in a party and support. Show your knowledge so that when people are deciding, this person should be on the board, this person should be minister or commissioner, we know that lady. She's very intelligent, she's very resourceful, she's very hardworking. Bring her in, right? But you have made yourself available, right? So if it's for position that you're looking for, that's one thing. If it's to make a difference in your community, that's another thing. People have different reasons, different whys. But more than anything, I feel that women are the gardeners of family. And family is the building block of society. And it's not right that men are the ones that determine so much that goes on in this country. So even if it's just for that reason, right, get more involved.
the elections happened the way it did last year. This is 1 year after. How would you rate the present government, and what would you have done differently? You know why I'm asking? What would you have done differently? I've sat down with you and I've heard you talk about how the state can be better, and I loved what I heard. So what would you have done better, given the 1 year so far?
Okay. Well, first of all, the state has not inspired trust in the people. Earlier, I think it was this year, we showed how the procurement agencies showed that Sonlu took 200 million to pay for his personal legal bills at a time where so many people were suffering. So, having that knowledge, and also knowledge of the fact that it has taken 16 years to actually lay 16 kilometers of rail, right? From the APC's own plan, Lagos State needs about 175 kilometers of rail. If it is taking 16 plus years to get 16 kilometers of rail, then that means my grandchild that will be celebrating maybe the third rail that they lay, which is a failure. Because these are trams. This is not high-speed rail. A lot of people might not know the difference. But when you look at Ethiopia, it's laying 37 kilometers of rail with 30 or so odd stations. It's doing it in 3 years. Yeah. That's Ethiopia in this same Africa. So, yes, we are happy that people are finally using trains in Lagos State. That Lateef Jakonde, unfortunately, Buhari stopped him. But I know that man will not have rested until he delivered that thing in 3 years. But it has taken 16 years for us to get here. So, I'm sorry, but that is still very mediocre to me. You look at the Red Line. Yes, I applaud their work with the federal government. The fact that they bought 11-year-old trained coaches, that they've not yet disclosed the amount that they bought it for. But I'm very certain that it will weigh more than the actual amount that it cost, because that seems to be what they do. And they have a joint agreement with federal government where they share that right of way or whatever else. So there's the Red Line. So what we are calling on the government to do is to sit up so that, in the next 10 years, we can actually have a properly real network Lagos State. And if the government can say that they do not have the financial capacity to carry this thing, let them open it up to the private sector. Lagos State has the population that makes a train system feasible commercially, right? Open it up. I know billionaires have sat down with that, said they've approached the state government that they want to do this entire rail system at the same time. And they were rebuffed. Why? Because they didn't pay bribes, or they were not allowing for individuals to own equity in the company that they are going to use to do the construction. And these are the things that are holding Lagos State back, right? We talk about, I've spoken about how transportation for that is important. Then the waterways. Our waters need to be dredged properly. Fortunately, even though there's a law now that says that the waterways belong to the federal government, should be the federal government is from Lagos State now. Abi?
True.
Yeah. So we should be able to get all the permissions to dredge our waterways. We can take the sand from there, use it to start building low-cost housing, and then dredge our waterways so we normalize water transportation. Lagos State is a collection of islands. The most efficient way to get around Lagos is not road or even train, is water. And we must normalize that, right? Enough work is not being done on that. Then the biggest issue is openness and transparency. Because what happens is so much money is stolen from the system, and then you get token projects. You get breadcrumbs. Now today they talk, take this one, just clap for us small. They look at this. Then they will go again, they'll enjoy Faji. They'll travel to one country and do party. Then, if I talking to one, take this other bridge. And go and look at the price of that thing connecting, whether it's Uzumba to Falomo, you see that it's done for ×3 or ×4 the price that is done anywhere else in the world. You look at the bridges, the roads that they are doing per kilometer, let them publish it. And I promise you it's ×3, ×4 the standard price. So we are not getting a good deal in Lagos. But the moment you open it up and you're transparent about the cost per kilometer, you open it up and people can see, then you now have to start meeting a certain cost, whether you want to benchmark it to World Bank benchmark, because World Bank has benchmarks for kilometers of roads everywhere in the world. Okay, you contractor, you must meet this thing, plus or minus 10%. Right? That way, we know that we are spending 1 naira, we are getting value for 1 naira. Not that we're spending 3 naira to get value for 1 naira. And then, secondly, we need to address human capacity development in our youth. The amount of young men whose lives are wasting away in this Lagos state is a keg of gunpowder that we are sitting on. Our population by 2050, 2060 is going to start approaching 400 million. By rule of thumb, that's 10% of that population will be housed in this state, Lagos state. If now we have a group of young people that don't believe in education anymore, that believe that it's about doing alaye and collecting money from people, there's going to come a point where the number of young people that are doing alaye is more than the bosses. And then that is not sustainable. Even that corrupt system is not even sustainable. And you have a lot of young people. Think about what this now has, the effect it now has on family structures. All the young men that are looking up to their father that are standing on the road. Or homes that are not consolidated. Think about the effect on generations that are coming afterwards. Right? It's a huge problem. The drug problem in Lagos State is a huge one. The lack of productivity in Lagos State is a huge one. Right? And then they keep telling us that these other people are our problem. No. When they were shooting at NSAS people, nobody was discriminating whether you're Yoruba or you're Hausa or
Let not
you're
the
Igbo.
touch language.
Pretty much. It was all our struggle. All of us came together and said, this is what we want. When they sent BRT buses, they complained that people bought BRT buses, and I condemned that. But when they sent BRT buses full of thugs with matches to the front of Alausa, what did the governor do about that? When those people with matches were chasing unarmed protesters. So, the crux of this matter is a government that prioritizes the youth. Let me give you an example, just basic example, and I'll end this on that. I'm an architect. I also am involved in construction. When I want to do tiling work well, it's a Togo or Cotonou man that does it. When I want to do POP well, it's a Togo or Cotonou man that does it. You might hear them speaking Yoruba
yes.
and get fooled by that, but they are not Nigerians, because a lot of our young people are not willing. Well, they've not gotten capacity to learn the craft. Secondly, because of this fast pace, we must get money. They don't have the patience to actually do work to be finished. And this is just my industry. There are several industries, whether it's chefs, right? And chefs, you have a chef, you're paying that chef at least 150, 200,000 naira a month. But our people are not willing to take time and learn. But have they been given the opportunity to learn? And this is why I talk about human capacity development at the local level. Not you have one big building and allows all of you come here. No, in the world level, you guys come together. Are you interested in learning how to tile? Are you interested in bricklaying? Are you interested in plumbing? Right? Because these are the skills that even in Oyinbo land, England, the money they pay plumber is not small money.
All these skilled workers.
But you'll be treating the ones here like this because they do not have the finishing skills. Go and try that with Julius Berger now. Or any of these other construction companies that come to you. Pay them premium because they have highly skilled workers. We need our youth population to have high skills, whether it's in the formal system or even in the formal system. They need to be trained on how to use computers, Excel, whatever, to make their business more effective and better. You cannot just be taxing from them without giving them the skills and knowledge. These are some of the things that I would have implemented and done better, and ensure that the transportation system is massively partnered by the private sector. Unlike situation where Uber was here, they were threatening them. Then I think those Gokada came.
Gokada.
So you now have policy flip-flops that don't allow for a private sector to feel confident to invest in the state.
Others will not want to come.
Wow.
Can I
Yes, you can.
say something? When he was talking, he spoke about generations after generations, especially with young people, and I thought about the females again. You find 13-year-old, 12-year-olds now getting pregnant, and they are getting pregnant for somebody by the roadside because of maybe one nice meal, and then maybe a fake Android phone, and then so many things like that. And I'll also say that, they spoke about father figure, community figure, where you grow up, what your value system is yourself. So morals. If I grew up in a house where my father beats my mom, there's a tendency that the man that I'm looking for is somebody that can do that to me, because I might see as a definition
As a normal
of love.
thing as love, yes.
Yeah.
So most of the times when I have 13, 12-year-olds to 15, 16-year-olds, what I teach them is self-esteem, value, morals, being able to say no. Because there's a way the guy will want to catch you in a particular space that you be like, I had no choice but to do it. And then speaking out even after it is done. A lot of girls get raped. I had a 7-year-old who was raped by a neighbor. The mother was still beating the 7-year-old that she could have spoken up. So these are issues that child, we took that child away from that family first. That was the first thing. When everybody was saying, bring her, let her first ask her, how did he do it? You don't ask a child that. But that girl is scarred for life. There is no amount of talk, no amount of whatever that you want to do that is going to solve that issue. Now, we took that case to the police station. We will pay to arrest the man. We will pay to take it to court. We will pay for a child who was molested. So these are issues that if we really look at it, let's imagine that the girl was 10 and she got pregnant, and maybe they go and check her in the hospital. She cannot abort. She has to give birth to the child. She gives birth to that child with pain, hatred,
Anguish.
low self-esteem, whatever she's passing on to that child, emotionally, physically, she has passed on whatever she had. And then that girl, she's still 10, probably, maybe 11 by the time she gives birth. And then she now continues to sleep with other men that feels like after one.
Because that is going to be her life after.
That's
Yes.
going to be her life afterwards. She keeps doing that all around. She probably will have maybe 5 kids for 5 different men that have no responsibility to take care. She has added to population without
That
us
is
thinking
useless,
about
oh.
it. Useless population. Do you understand? Now she already has 5 kids for 5 different men that don't care. Those 5 men would have met other women that they probably would have done the same to. We now have almost 30, 40 kids who are going to grow up to not have any value in life.
And the state is not taking a position to take care of those people.
You see this thing she's saying it sounds far-fetched. It sounds far-fetched, but I kid you not. You must have heard this, you must have heard this, you must have heard this. Babami, go to a Butemeta. You will see this thing. You will see, I cannot remember, personally, me were there, so I've sent 2 pastors, I don't tell you, to prison. A pastor that raped a 12-year-old, I've handedly sent him to a prison, to prison myself. Go to a Butemata, you will see a 12-year-old, 13-year-old girl carrying a child at the
On the
back.
back.
On the back. And another one for hand. And they talk to boy.
Oh.
This thing she's saying is not Kakamasoro. No, it's not far-fetched. It's happening. If I dare you go to a Butemata, you see what I'm talking to you about.
So if we're talking about population by 2050, which is what set of children are going to make up that by 2050? How many elites are now willing to give birth to 5? Most people, 2. I don't look
Otam.
sure.
It's not even now. We're not looking at the quantity now. We're looking at the quality.
Quality.
If we had a lot of people that could impute positively
human
into
capital
the growth of the
development.
society,
That's what we're talking
perfect. But now we are going to be producing
Bandits,
miscreants,
terrorists.
bandits,
Have you been to Makoko?
Oh, don't even go
Have
there.
you been to? Do you know the school we actually built is on water in Makoko, and we're housing over 230 kids.
Jesus.
Wow.
One Is the girl, she ran away, she refused after she gave birth. They can't find her again. They said maybe she moved to another.
She go get belle,
Another
come
one
back.
is the auntie. Another one, anytime she goes, she always comes back with pregnancy. When she drops that one, she's off again. And then these kids are growing. They're making them realize that you bastard, we don't even know what we want to do with you. When I first went there, the school was taking 15 naira per child every day. I was like, okay, in 1 year, 18 to 50. I started raising money for 1 year. We'll send the child to school. At some point, the landlord of that place told the guy that there's one church that wants to buy the place, so he's going to send them off. He got there without. That means there's no school because it's not registered.
Imagine
the
when they
school
replaced
doesn't-
it with church.
Yes, the school doesn't exist again. I went to meet the ballet. Let me talk to this man. Let's beg the church man to leave this land alone. We're paying you per month, right, for the land already. They said no, the money that was offered was more than the money that we were paying.
Hallelujah.
So we had to go and find a new land or a new
new
water
waterway,
space.
a water-
A new water space
To fill up.
to fill up and start a new school.
And the church will go there and be collecting offering and be collecting tithes.
Well, please, there's a big point that I need to make here. And thank you so much for the work that you do. It's extremely touching and
Yes.
extremely
I
inspiring.
swear down.
Thank
I
you.
think she
God
deserves
bless
a round
you.
of applause.
Yes, exactly.
Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Now, you see, in England, in America, the child belongs to the state.
Yes.
You are guardians of that child. Why? Because the ultimate damage that child can do is to the state, not to the parent.
Exactly.
So they put in welfare nets and welfare checks and balances to make sure that you, the guardians, are doing a good job. Right? You are not creating a menace to society for us to deal with later on. Because when they calculate the cost of having that child be put in prison, it's
Feeding that
cheaper
child in the prison.
Feeding that child. Even in Nigeria, Shebi Oshomole was talking to someone
Dog
that said that the
and-
dog is earning more than whatever is a cost. When you calculate all of that and you see, okay, what does it take? How much will it cost us to put money in education, to have social welfare services, to make sure that we have children that are adding productively to society? We are going to be in a better position because we are spending less on managing them or managing their atrocities, and we are also going to be potentially earning more taxes because we have a much more productive citizen.
Yes.
So the state must take responsibility and take charge. This is where data comes in. A lot of children are born today, they don't have birth certificates.
They don't have names.
They don't.
It's not even about birth certificates.
What?
They don't have names. There's a foundation called
Hold on. Say that they don't have names.
They don't have names. In 2018, we went to a place called Love Fifth Foundation. They were about 50 children. I was so excited to meet them. I asked, "Oh, what's your name?" so that you can relate. What's your name? They don't have name.
Ah.
You know what? So what do you call them? Boy. If you're a girl. Anyone will answer, they'll say no. It's this one that I'm calling. So where's the identity? So they are even struggling with identity. Do you understand? They can't say that this is my name. Not talk about saying that I have a birth certificate.
Yes.
I will even talk about a 20-year-old girl who came from Warri to Lagos. She wanted to start a life, all of that. I asked, what's your name? Say, that time they used to call her Johnson.
Johnson.
Female. Why are they calling you Johnson? Apparently, that's the man that raped the mother. That's the name of the man that raped the mother. So they just gave her the name.
Yeah.
Your name is Johnson. And I was like, you are an adult. How can you be bearing Johnson? Okay, what name would you like for yourself? You have seen so many names. What name? That Johnson, they okay. Okay, so what did you come and do in Lagos? She said she was tired of Warri. She doesn't want to stay in Warri again. The older sister, everybody that the mother gave birth to, one is going to prison every day. One is this, one is that. They're all just, and she just felt like the best thing to do is to run away and come to Lagos. I've been telling her that Lagos is, when I started asking her questions, apparently she has slept in hotels where they will now hitch her up with a guy and say that is hookup you can survive with. So she has slept with men. So we'll give her 2K and say that that's how they do it in Lagos. So that's the service that you have rendered. We had to harbor her at home first go and do full body checkup. Are you okay? Hope there's no disease, there's nothing, there's this. Come and write why, come and start reading. What do you want to do? Do you understand? But that's a 20-year-old without an identity. No surname, just Johnson.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy.
So imagine how many people have even
crazy.
manipulated her to even get her. I even had to, at some point, the doctor was trying to ask her if she has ever gotten pregnant before, if she has aborted, if she has, while we're asking her. I said, please don't ask her such questions. Just check her. If she's okay, as you have seen her, let us take her home. Don't ask her how many, because there's a very high possibility that she would have gotten pregnant.
Obviously,
and
I
then
must
she
have
would
done a
have
lot of
taken out.
abortions.
And then there's so many times that she would have even gotten diseases that she would not have known how to figure out. And then maybe somebody would have suggested one thing, that thing for her from the hookup girls that she would have met. So it's just
It's a lot of
extremely
work.
crazy how far this thing has gone in terms of identity, in terms of population, in terms of quality of people that are even growing, in terms of self-esteem, in terms of relationships. You understand? This when I talk
crazy.
about these things, most of the time I
It's
get
crazy.
to a point
That's
where
massive.
it
It's
gets
crazy.
very angry. I get very angry. Even for boys, you imagine boys that all they have ever known is survival per day. You must hustle enough, either steal,
Pocket.
pickpocket, whatever it is that you have to do, even if it's to carry sand for that day. Choose where you want to, how you want to make your money for that day. And on the days where they refuse to allow you do that small job to collect that 2K, somebody will tell you that, what are you stressing yourself for? See that person that is going, rob the person, take the phone, take this. That one too, he already has one friend that he saw that time too, that they were both hustling to make it. So this is how to make it. Before you know, you have 5 gang, you have 1 million boys. As they
A
said,
gang of
during time
four ambobas.
of
some other
ungunned
men.
you see ungunned men. That's how it starts. So you see men on that side, you see women on that side, and all these people, all these ungunned men also have wives that they need to produce. If you produce a female, she's going to be the bait to get male. If you produce a male, it's going to be the soldier that you will train to take over.
It's a crazy situation. I think a very good place to wrap is the fact that we have seen, people in mainstream politics inspire so many young people. Whether we go back to pre-colonial times, pre-independence, post-independence, some people till today still claim that they are students of the school of Babawolowo, Awoism.
Yeah.
People they claim saying at the school with them be. Now, some people have said that a new Nigeria is possible. And they are not a political party. For example, they are a political movement like the Obedience Movement. But like, for example, in the last maybe 2 weeks, we don't see some kind things from that movement. We they make plenty of people, they shock. There are people who call themselves key obedient movement members. And allegations, they fly around, say, this one collect money, that one no collect money. Let me even give the example of the NSAS movement. Also, till date, there are still some allegations that some people made money from donations that were made at that time. Now, you hear young people wake up every day and say, so some people, they cash out for this movement. Whether you like it or not, some people is even to just harvest followers. Some people will go from 2,000 followers to 200,000 followers using riding on the wave of a movement. And this has made many young people look at it and say, is that new Nigeria possible? Is it really possible? I would want our final word on this before we wrap. All these allegations, I'm sure you must have seen.
I even heard of the ones that they said that they give money, that they donated money to the former presidential candidate Peter Obi, that he swallowed the money. I've heard those ones. So the question is largely to you.
Okay.
And then
I've seen some of the commentary. I recall that some of that commentary started from this whole Edu election and the candidates for Edu and everything. The obedient movement is a huge one, and it's not going to be defined or pulled down by one or two people squabbling. And by and large, it was a net positive movement for the history of Nigeria, regardless. It inspired hope in a lot of people. Now, being in politics, there are always going to be allegations. Me, myself, they've said that I've built a house in Banana Island. Some people say I bought a private jet.
Amen.
And I looked at
Amen,
it. I thank God that I have the accounts. I put my account, please, for the support to the campaign account. I have it there. So when it's time, I just put it out there. I'm not even going to do summary. I'll just put it out there for you. Thankfully, there are people, we raised up to 10 million naira. The people that are donating 100 naira, so amounts, a lot of people, and that's where the pride is. Not so much the amount, is that people keyed into it.
Yes.
Right? So I want to say that let us not be distracted by these squabbles, and let us not lose hope based on people, the idea of this person might have cashed out or that. There are always going to be rumors, there are always going to be allegations.
True.
But the fact of the matter is, when I remember NSAS, I remember people bringing out money to pay for security when dogs came.
Yeah.
I remember
to clean
people
the place.
I remember people buying food, right, for people on a daily basis. I remember people paying for hospital. I remember people doing good things with money. Now, it is even the Black Lives Matter movement, that one too, they've brought K-Leg into it, that some people got money from it. Fine. But that movement itself, was it a net positive effect for us?
Yeah.
And I think the answer to that is yes. So I'm going to just leave it there at that.
Okay.
I'm not in the Labour Party, but I'm just going to talk in general. The life of a politician is like an open book. Anybody can pick their pen and write what they choose to say about you. And then but I just believe that there's you, and then there's the world. There are a few things that you might be able to defend. There are some that is just better left to just die a natural death. There are some that will fight your values so much that you have to just talk back. But I think we have learned to not talk out of emotions anymore, and then now talk out of, even if you talk with emotion or with logic or with spiritual thought or with Bible verse or Quran verse, or they will still interpret it and use another Bible verse to support or oppose what you just said. So politics is politics, but particularly women, I beg, please, where's the front of the camera that I can look? Okay. Yes, dear women, please run. If you don't want to run, join the political movement. If you are looking for who to ask, please ask me. I will tell you how we got in and how we can take over. Please. Thank you.
Interesting. So, Okiki, thank you so much. JRV, we're really very grateful.
Thank you for
We're
having
certain
me.
that we have touched on, so many areas, and we have been able to light that fire in the minds of young Nigerians. Whether you like it or not, the future of our country is in our hands.
True.
And we are the people who are going to feature actively in that future. And if you do not play a role in ensuring that that future is one that is bright and you can, flourish in that future, it's going to be problematic. As we pray for a better Nigeria, we must also work and give our best to ensure that our country is better. Look at young Nigerians. Families are displaced. Many of us grew up with families that, we lived in maybe 1-room apartments, 2 rooms, duplex. We dey see ourselves on a constant. Now you get family where we say na tiki taka. Some day Sweden, some day Canada, some day parents cannot even see their children. Now, so it's really very, very important that we know that if Nigeria works for all of us, we are all going to be beneficiaries of a country that works. Don't say you can't go abroad. Person will not reach you normally. If we check the way when God they even create us, normally person will not feel looking for eye.
You understand?
Because of say
you're gonna sit there.
I saw a video of somebody covering their nose because they were standing close to a black person. You can say that person is ignorant and acting all that. But I don't believe say any Nigerian go there say he won't leave this country because he won't go. Some of us, our body they even they scratch us when we even go there. Our body go scratch us. We go won't come back home because there's no place like home. So please, let us all join our hands together to make our country work.
And another thing I want to say also is, regardless of what you feel, regardless of how you feel, Baba, leave this thing before election, they don't already know who go win. The truth is, if you not try, if you not start, you not get how we go take know whether waiting with the think not true or not.
Exactly.
GRV is here, Okiki is here. They can, if they were thinking that way, they wouldn't have gotten to the point where they are.
Exactly.
Now, obviously, if the next governorship election now, GRV is going to contest. Now he has a better chances of winning. He don't see some things when he say he don't do before we not do we not go well. He's gonna do it better. Okiki is gonna do better. Now, when they continue like this with the ideas that they have, the high mentality that they have, we have people like this in power. We can only expect better things to happen. And some go say, hey, Baba, leave them. Even if they enter, other people go there, we go frustrate them, which is why we need you to be the other people that's going to be a force not to help them not frustrate people
Or most
like
importantly, you to put them in office.
Put them in office.
Because they're not going to be answerable to any Baba.
Exactly.
Any mama.
Exactly.
It is the people.
Yes,
Yes.
the people.
If you put your friend in office that you know this person is an upstanding person, you put this person in office, you know this person is answerable to the public.
Exactly.
We need to start choosing people that have the commonwealth of the nation in mind, not individualism.
It's a good place to wrap. It's a good place to wrap.